So now we are starting with the standing portion of the warm-up, and you're just going to do some ankle circles. So just beginning with a 90-degree angle here. You can hold on to something for balance, that's totally fine. Making sure, anything you have to do to make sure that that foot that you are standing on, in this case my right, is planted. You're just circling, taking 8 circles to the outside. And just beginning to establish some balance here. And then 8 circles to the inside. Really articulate as much as you possibly can. Really try to draw an actual circle with your toes. And 8. Switching sides, balancing on the left, lifting up the right. 2, 3. And take your time here. And reverse. Again, just thinking about what that foot is doing. And relax, shake it out. Now we're going to do a simple bow and arrow drill. So similar to the one that you do with Mike, and we'll move into that next. But first, you're just going to reach both hands out in front of you. And then from here, this is really, you're stretching your upper body, but you're really kind of working on what your lower body is doing, how your lower body is stabilizing. So start with the feet, make sure your feet are nice and planted. You can take a little teeny tiny bend in your knees just so that you're in that athletic stance. Lifting up out of your lower belly, extend both arms out in front of you all the way. And then from here, keep your hips exactly where they are. Do not move anything in your lower body at all. No shifting of the weight on the feet at all. No knees, no hips, nothing. Just the arms, you're opening, reach, reach, reach. This is a big stretch, and then come back to the center. Reach, 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 reach. So you're pulling forward with the right hand, pulling back with the left hand, back to center. Just like what you do seated with your hips, when you're doing this with your upper body. I'm not moving my hips, I'm not letting my weight shift at all, keeping everything in my lower body below the waist nice and stable. And just take one more here, reaching back. And then quick rest. Now we're going to go into the full exercise. So staggering your feet, start standing on your right foot. Again, you're centered, your weight is centered over this right foot. You're reaching that left hand out in front of you, just as though you're about to shake someone's hand, coming out of the shoulder, and then just reaching behind you with the right hand, pulling in both directions. Trying not to let your weight shift too far forward or too far back. You're dead center here. Activating the inside of your foot, so pressing that down without letting your knee come in, keeping everything nice and stable in the lower body, holding and breathing. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Switch it up. Left foot forward, right foot back. Just make sure you're at least hips width, not too narrow here so that it's easier to balance. And reaching the right hand out in front of you, extending out of that shoulder, making sure your weight is centered, and then just reaching back behind you, feeling the oppositional pull, keeping everything in the lower body perfectly stable. You're rotating internally on that foot, but the knee is not falling, the hip is not falling. You're just keeping everything nice and flat, breathing into the upper body. Take one more breath here, and exhale. From here, you're just going to move into the side lunge. So begin with a wide stance here, toes are pointed forward, and then you're just going to go into a side lunge. So from the side, for you specifically, just make sure that you're not bending too much from your knee. You're going into your hips here. So start lifting up and out of your lower belly, sticking out your butt, and then sitting back, nice and deep into that lunge. And then from here, the same thing. So you're just holding here, but you're activating your inner thighs. You're activating your adductors. So you're feeling as though you're sliding that left leg towards your right. You're feeling that your foot is planted firmly on the ground. Even though you are making this action, that intention of bringing the leg, you're still lined up here perfectly well. You're still resisting the urge to have your knee and hip drop in. You're here, you're nice and stable. You're pushing the floor away on the outside of that right foot. And you're just going to reach across the body with that right arm. Holding here. Sliding the floor in on the left side, pushing the floor away on the right, reaching forward and diagonally here, and release. Other side. Just make sure you're not too wide or too narrow and that your toes are pointing directly forward. Right knee is bending, you're lifting up out of the lower belly, hinging at the hips nice and deeply. From here, you want to have that same sensation as you do when you squeeze the block or pillow. So you're just locking that knee on, but without letting it collapse in. Keeping everything lined up here just as you were in a squat. You're pushing the floor away on the left side. You're letting the right side of your foot press down into the ground here, and you're squeezing your adductors towards one another. From here, you're just going to reach across, left hand. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Shaking out the legs, having a seat for segmental stabilization. So again, just reinforcing what we've already done. Feet are on the ground. Try to come to the edge of your seat so that your pelvis is not tucked under. You want your pelvis to be, if anything, sticked forward just a little bit. Pillow, block, whatever you have in between your knees. And then from here, you're just going to start rotating. So just like you've done with Mike, I suggest lifting your elbows up a little bit higher. And that's because that will just encourage you, and keep moving, keep doing this while as I'm talking. That's going to encourage you just to move a little less through your shoulders and a little more through your obliques. So you want to lift up here. The only thing that's moving are just your obliques. So it's not really what your shoulders are doing, and it's more just what your torso is doing. Your shoulders are just following. So if your arms are down, you're twisting too much, that's where you might start to get that pinch in your back a little bit. So hopefully keeping the elbows up and moving a little bit less will alleviate that. From here, we're just going to start to bring the lower body into this. So squeezing the right knee, and then rotating to the right, squeezing the left knee, rotating to the left. It is so hard to keep your head forward here. Squeezing the right knee, rotating to the right, squeezing the left, rotating to the left. Incorporating the hips and knees also now, so pulling back with the right hip all the way and then reaching forward with the right hip. You're rotating. Pressing forward with the right knee, pulling back with the left, rotating to the left. And most important again here, what are your feet doing? Feet are planted, feet are not shifting and moving. Nothing is moving here. Very subtle. Squeeze on that right side, pull the right hip back, push the left knee forward, and you're just rotating. Left side, squeeze, pull the left hip back, right knee forward, rotate. And just take a few more of these. Again, most important, just think about what the feet are doing. The feet are not moving, weight is not shifting here. And then the final exercise that you're going to do are just lunges with a twist. So just to reinforce everything that we've already done, you're just going to step forward or back, your preference. I think you prefer forward. So keeping the hips, hips width apart, you're just going to step forward into a deep lunge, stop. Completely stop. Arms out in front, you're rotating towards that front knee, and then pushing back up to stand. Other side. So reinforcing what we've done. Not moving at the bottom. Not moving at the bottom at all. Nothing here is changing. Lifting up out of my lower belly, I'm twisting, driving forward. And again, just step forward on the right side, stop, full stop. Rotate, no movement here in the foot, no movement here in the knee. Rotating, drive up. One more time, step forward, nice and deep, making sure the hips aren't dropped, they're nice and even. Foot, knee, ankle, hip, stabilize, rotating, drive up. That's it.